So just showing what I've done to this box. This was part of the gift that my buddy sent me. If it hadn't been a gift, I probably would have just made another box because that probably would have been easier. This is just a plywood box. I think it was a lacquer coating on it. It was very hard to get off because it's plywood. The lacquer coating was all over the hardware and was soaked into the box quite extensively. I scraped all the lacquer off of it. I had to use a brush and citrus strip to get the remaining lacquer off. After I stripped it, I applied iron acetate, which darkened it, gave it more of an aged look in my opinion. If I had wanted to go black, I would have added tannins to it before the iron acetate. But I think the dark wood looks really nice. After the iron acetate soaked in and dried, I applied a clear or natural Watco Danish oil. And when that dried, I wiped the excess off and applied a wax to it. I cleaned up all the hardware, gave it a brushed finish, and temporarily I have placed his service patches that he sent me inside the box. I'll find a shadow box for it and find a place on the wall for them because I'm very touched that he sent those to me and I want to display them. On the inside of the box, I took poster board and cut it out to fit each shape, the bottom and the sides, same at the top. And then I applied green velvet to that and placed it in the box. If I were to do that again, or when I do that again with another project, I will probably make one piece so that I have one piece of velvet that just folds over in the corners instead of an individual piece for each side and the top and bottom. Overall, though, I think it looks really nice. I think it's a nice addition to the project that I did. Originally, it took me a really long time to get to this project because I thought that the Stanley 78 looked really good, and I thought that the only improvements that I could do would be to this box. But now that I had gotten into the project, I realized that, well, there are some things that I could do to the Stanley 78, and I will show you that next. Well, here is the Stanley number 78 made in England rabbet plane. And sorry, Vin, yes, I called it a rabbet plane. If I were to pull the instructions that you sent out with it, the original instructions that came with it out, even the manufacturer calls it a rabbet plane. I don't know. Y'all can't make up your mind over there. It's a Philister plane. It's a rebate plane. I don't know. All joking aside, he and I were joking around that I didn't know what to do with this because it was in decent shape. And I told him, you know what, I'm going to paint it like a European race car because when I think rabbit, I think fast. I didn't do that, of course. I wouldn't do that to this. And I went a little further in places than I may have needed to or should have. It was one of those deals where you envision something in your head and you think, yeah, that's going to look amazing. And when you're done with it, it's like, yeah, I don't know if I should have done that or not. In a lot of the spots, like here on the handle, I painted it and then I scraped the paint off and then sanded those areas to make them shiny. I think it gave it a little nice touch, but it may have been a little bit too much. I did the same thing here. I painted this whole area and then came back and sanded it, leaving the paint inside the recesses and the nubs shiny. Same thing with the Stanley. And you can't really tell from here, but I brought that Stanley to a mirror shine. The rest of it, I did more of a brushed finish. I'd never really attempted that before, and I think it turned out all right. I'm contemplating bluing all the screws. I don't know yet. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. And the one other place that I went a little further than I might have needed to, and this is kind of along the lines of a race car, being a Rabbet, it's fast. I don't know if y'all can see that on the camera. Here, I sanded that down because it reminded me of racing stripes. And then the number 78, made in England, I brought that to a mirror finish as well. Well, that's it. I think it turned out pretty nice. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about it. Let me know if I went too far with it. If I should have just stuck with a little bit more simple. I guess the last thing to do is to see if all the work that I put into it was worth it. Let's see if it works. I've never used one of these before, and I'm thankful to have it. I'm sure I'm going to use it in the future. But let's try it out. This probably is not the ideal piece of wood to test it out on. It's just a piece of scrap, but I've got the fence set up. I've got the depth stop on the other side set up. And I just got to figure out how to finely tune the blade to get it to cut the way I want. I'm already at the depth stop here, so take all that off real quick. Start with a nice flat piece. See if we can do that again. I think my fence moved on me. Well, this is definitely something that I'm going to need to learn how to use, but it seems as though it is working really nicely. I wonder if I can move this fence in further. Yeah, let's do that. Let's move that fence in further. Making a big mess here for my dog to come chew on wood shavings in a minute. I'm going to clean it up. Well, I think that works pretty good. I'm pleased with how it turned out, and I hope my buddy over across the pond likes what I did with the tool he sent me. Thank you again for this amazing gift. I appreciate it. If I left any questions as to what I did, basically I followed the plan that I use restoring any hand plane. I did a video restoring my grandfather's Type 17 Stanley number 5, and I went into great detail on that video, so check that video out if I left any questions in your mind. I truly appreciate y'all stopping by and checking out my videos. Without getting into too much detail, I've had a couple of life changes. I will still be putting out content, but not weekly. Maybe 2-3 times a month. I might get 4. I don't know yet, but the content will still be coming, just not as frequent. Thank y'all again for stopping by, and until next time, get out there, save something from being forgotten, and live a big life. Okay, if you are going to completely disassemble your number 78, regardless of how smoothly you think the pin has come out for the depth adjustment lever, try to back this piece up, because I caused a stress fracture and the piece snapped off during cleaning. So be extremely careful regardless of how simple the pin comes out. Back that piece up, support it somehow. Learn from my mistake.